Welcome back, everyone, to Global War 1914, Operation Albatross. This is the fall-winter of 1918 for the United States, and let's kick it off here with purchases. We do have to account for the remaining $3 for convoy rating. They're on the West African line. The French paid off $1, on their turn, and so we owe the remaining $3. We're going to spend, $8 in complete construction of a dreadnought. We're going to start construction of a dreadnought for another $8 and move it up 2 stages. So it will start at stage 2. We're going to purchase a cavalry for $4, an artillery for $5, 3 colonials for $6, and then round it out by purchasing a naval transport for $6. And we do have $2 left in the bank. That's going to go for diplomacy. We're going to try and influence Peru and Bolivia. Now, we don't really get a whole lot from Bolivia. It's not even worth an IPP. Doesn't have a manpower slot. We would get a militia, but of course we wouldn't be able to upgrade it, and he can't move. So if we do take Bolivia, we would get the militia, but he would have to stay there the remainder of the game. It would be mostly we would want it just to have a railroad connection. There is a railroad that goes through there, and we could connect it to Brazil if we wanted to. Probably be cheaper to connect it here. And it would give us, a front here with Chile and open another front here with Argentina. So that's kind of the thinking behind that. So yeah, that's all for purchases. For technology, we're going to go counter battery fire, try to finish that off. Currently at stage 3. We're going to try to get to stage 1 for hurricane bombardment. Try to advance stage 2, depth charges and hydrophones and strategic bombers. Let's see, that's 4 of the 5 techs. And then we'll round it out by trying to go for wartime economy. All right, let's roll for some diplomacy first. This will be for Peru, so 3 or less. Oh, nice, we got it. All right, so Peru moves up to stage 1. And here is the roll for Bolivia. And, oh, nice, another 2. All right, so Bolivia moves up to stage 1 as well. Finally, some success in diplomacy. All right, technology, counter battery fire. We'll just do these one at a time since there's 5 of them. Counter battery fire, need a 6 or higher for that. And we miss with that. Hurricane bombardment, need a 7 or higher. Miss with that one. Looks like we've exhausted all of our luck on diplomacy so far. Depth charges and hydrophones, 7 or higher. Okay, I'm going to throw that die away. That's garbage. I'm going to try a different one here. Strategic bomber is 7 or higher. Oh, man, even worse. And let's see if we can salvage anything with wartime economy. That is also 7 or higher. Oh, man. 0 for 5 with technology. Man, that is brutal. Okay, let's come over here for combat moves, which we don't have any. We do have 6 infantry and 2 artillery sitting in Belgium, so we do have the option to attack into Western Germany, but we're not going to do that. I'm not going to throw units away. We do have a strategic victory objective down here. Let's see if I can find it. Global dominance. So USA is at war with the Central Powers, has 18 or more land units in Europe, and more dreadnoughts than Great Britain. So that's why we've been building dreadnoughts and why we haven't been attacking here in Europe. We're just trying to build up our forces so that we can get to the threshold of meeting the requirement for that victory objective. And so I think we're just going to continue with that strategy and not throw units away into the fire, so to speak. So we have just non-combat moves, and we are going to move I'll start over here in northern France. So we do have 2 Marines and 2 artillery in Picardy, and they will join the British there in Belgium. All right, so we now have 4 artillery, 6 infantry, 2 Marines in Belgium. Okay, we have 2 naval transports down here in A23 that are in port in London. They are going to transport 4 infantry. They're going to come out of port, load up 4 infantry from the British Midlands, and they will just siphon guys over into Belgium. So that will give us 10 infantry in Belgium now. All right, so 40, 50, so we're 2 units away from meeting the threshold. Well, I guess this Marine here in the British Midlands does count towards that, that total of 18, so we would just need 1 more. Unless if it's talking about mainland Europe, I don't know. All right, so these guys will stay in A23, these 2 naval transports. We're going to take this Olympic class ocean liner that's in port in the British Midlands. He's going to strategic naval move back to New York. All right. And actually, you know what? I do have some combat. It's down in Mexico. So we are going to attack Chihuahua, where the remaining Federales forces are located. So we have to resolve that. But we'll get to that here after I finish these non-combat moves for the United States. Okay, a coastal sub will move from A19 into A20. We also have a dreadnought. He will move 1, 2, 3 into A20, along with a cruiser and a torpedo boat destroyer. And joining them will be 2 naval transports from New York, and they will be loaded up with let's see, what do we want to take over? Let's take over 2 cavalry. Hold on, let me think about this. How about 2 naval infantry, 1 infantry and 1 cavalry. All right, so that leaves 3 cavalry behind in New York, along with 1 naval infantry. All right. I think I'll just leave. We're going to be manufacturing in the place unit phase. We're going to be manufacturing a cavalry in New York. So that will bring our total back to 4. So I'll just leave the 3 chip on the unit card there. Okay, so that's taken care of. We're going to move 2 dreadnoughts from the Carolinas, or Washington, D.C. I think they were in port in Washington, D.C., actually. So they were here in A30, and they're going to move 1, 2 into A18. They have a very limited range. A cruiser in A30 is going to move 3 spaces, 1 into A25, 2 into A18, 3 into A19. Well, I think he can probably move 4. Let me double check that. Yeah, he has a base movement of 3, so he can move 4 spaces. So he will join the Navy fleet here in A20. And the submarine, he will move 1, 2, 3 into A19. Then we have a naval transport in A37. He'll move up 1, 2 and go into port in New York. And a dreadnought will move 1 into A30, 2 into A25, 3 into A18, and join up with those 2 pre-dreadnoughts. All right, we have a seaplane in Newfoundland. He's going to move 1 into A18, 2 into A26, 3 into A33, 4 into A35, and 5 into Portugal. And the plan there is to free up that French seaplane to give him the option, if he wants to move down into West Africa. Because there is a German sub right there. So, all right, I think that does it for non-combat. I'm going to check Asia. Oh, we do have a coastal sub over here in the Pacific. In P40, he's going to come over 1 and go into P76. So we will bring him all the way over here. And he will go into P76. Oh, and we have a pre-dread in P76. So now he can only move 1, so because there's not a major port here for him to utilize, so he's just going to go 1 into A40, use the Panama Canal. Okay, let's go ahead and do combat. So here in Mexico, so we have a cavalry and 7 infantry in western Mexico, 1 infantry in Coahuila. They're all going to attack into Chihuahua against 3 Federales infantry. All of the infantry will be at a 1. All the attacking infantry will be at a 1. The cavalry will be at a 2. And the 3 defending infantry will be at a 4. All right, so we have a total of 8 infantry at a 1. Now, there's only 1 round of combat because it's fall-winter. Here's the 8 infantry at a 1. And no hits. And then we have the cavalry at a 2. And no hit there. And the 3 defending infantry at a 4. And he does get a hit, so we'll lose an infantry. All right, so everyone retreats, and we will have 6 infantry, 1 cavalry left. They retreat back to western Mexico. 1 infantry retreats back to Coahuila. Now we're going to do our recruitment roll. That's going to be at a 6 or less. Nice. Yes, and we get it. So we will place a free infantry into Kohila. Replaces the infantry we lost. All right. Let's place some units of the United States here. All right, 1 cavalry will go into New York. Oh, we have a fighter. I think we'll have to load him up on a transport next turn. Because his range is pretty garbage. It's like 3. Naval transport will be manufactured and go into port in New York. Along with a dreadnought and an artillery. All right. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. I forgot to move these guys down here in Brazil. Let me do that. It's the entire reason why I purchased colonial troops. Okay, so 1 infantry in Rio de Janeiro is going to come over to, what is that, Pampas? 1 infantry is going to come down from Amazonas down to Pampas, and Caatinga down to Pampas as well. And of course, for us to collect income, we need to place down some guys here. Oh, wait. I take that back. This guy's going to have to stay in Pampas because there's not a manpower slot there to produce anyone in. So 1 guy will be manufactured in Caatinga, and then 2 colonial troops will be produced in Rio de Janeiro. And then we'll just have to move them so that we can eventually move that infantry down to Pampas. Okay. So that means we have 6 infantry now in Pampas. All right. And the only unit left to place is a dreadnought at stage 2 on the production chart. And let's see, a base income, we collect $42. We don't get to roll for wartime economy because we're stuck at stage 2 of that tech right now. So we will collect $42, and we will have 42 in the bank for next turn. We do need to roll for the variable ending for the game. So, we're currently sitting at +2. Come over here to the calendar. So we started rolling for the variable ending right here in the spring of 1918. And every turn after that the game doesn't end, we add 1 to the roll. So we will add 2. We added 1 last turn, and then we add another 1 this turn. So the game is going to end. By default, the game would end at a 3 or less. But we have to modify that by 1 because of a random event. So it's going to be at a 4 or less. I'm going to double check the rule to make sure that's correct, that it's not modified anymore. Let's see. No. I'll go ahead and make the roll, and I'll look for it off camera instead of wasting time on camera here. Okay, so we're just going to go with a 4 or less to end the game. Now, if World War I comes to an end here, I'm still going to set up the Russian Civil War, Russian Revolution stuff so you guys can see what it looks like. And I will go through that on camera. Go through how the Russian Civil War, the Russian Revolution works. But of course, in that situation, Europe will be at peace. There won't be World War I. So the main focus is just going to be, the Soviet turn and all that. Of course, the European powers like Germany, France, Austria, Hungary, and Britain, I think they'll still be able to lend lease to the White Russians and to the Ukrainians and the Polish and the Finnish. But they're just not going to take their own turns to be able to continue World War I. But I think they still be able to lend lease. I'm going to have to check the rule book on how all that works. All right, so let's roll. 4 or less, World War I comes to an end. And it will continue. Rolled an 11. All right, so we will advance to spring of 1919. That is guaranteed. We still have the Chinese turn to do. China is neutral, though, so they don't really play as much of a factor in this game as they otherwise would have if they say would have joined the Allies. But because of our entry role for China landed on neutral, they're really not going to play as much of a role as they otherwise would have. So that will do it for the U.S. Like I said, we will collect $42 and have $42 in the bank for next turn. And next up will be China. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, take it easy. Bye for now.